Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Gone But Iconic. Tonight, we uncover the stories Hollywood wishes we'd forget. 15 famous names whose final hours weren't scripted by fate, but by medical errors. These were not tragic accidents on the road or sudden heart failures in the night. They were deaths that happened under the bright lights of sterile operating rooms where hope was supposed to heal. From a simple cosmetic procedure gone wrong to misdiagnoses that stole entire legends, each story exposes how even the powerful can fall to human error. Do you remember the moment the world learned that Joan Rivers had died after a routine throat exam? Or when Bill Paxton's family took a hospital to court for his death? Tell us, do you recall where you were when you first heard these headlines? Share your memory in the comments below. Number 1. Joan Rivers, 1933 to 2014, the fatal throat procedure. It was supposed to be routine, just a minor throat check at a Manhattan clinic. But for comedy legend Joan Rivers, it became a nightmare that silenced one of Hollywood's sharpest voices forever. On August 29, 2014, during what doctors described as a simple endoscopy, Joan stopped breathing. The monitors beeped, the oxygen levels plummeted, and panic spread across the room. Within minutes, she went into cardiac arrest and never regained consciousness. The investigation that followed revealed horrifying details. Unauthorized personnel had taken selfies in the operating room. The clinic wasn't properly equipped for emergencies, and the sedation dosage had not been supervised by an anesthesiologist. In short, it wasn't a medical mystery. It was negligence. Joan's daughter, Melissa, fought back with grace and fury, filing a wrongful death suit that later led to massive legal reforms. For millions, Joan wasn't just a comedian. She was a symbol of resilience, a woman who built her empire through pain and laughter. Her death reminded the world how quickly the system can fail, even when all you want is to breathe again. Do you remember her final public appearance before that tragic day? Leave your thoughts below. Number 2. Bill Paxton, 1955-2017, the heart that Hollywood failed. He survived twisters, alien invasions, and the sinking of the Titanic on screen. But off-camera, Bill Paxton couldn't survive a surgery meant to save his heart. On February 25, 2017, the beloved actor went under the knife for a procedure to repair an aortic aneurysm and replace a valve. The operation was supposed to be straightforward, yet within days, complications arose: massive internal bleeding and a stroke. By the time doctors realized the gravity of the situation, it was too late. Bill was gone at 61. The aftermath was as tragic as the loss itself. His family, devastated and seeking answers, discovered irregularities in his care. Their lawsuit against the surgeon and hospital claimed there had been poor judgment in performing the risky procedure and inadequate post-operative monitoring. In 2022, the case was quietly settled, but the questions lingered. Could Bill's death have been prevented? Fans around the world mourned not just a Hollywood actor, but a storyteller with heart and humility. From Apollo 13 to Big Love, he had given audiences something rare: honesty beneath the glamour. His last words to his family reportedly expressed optimism about the surgery. No one knew it would be his final curtain. Do you think fame can ever protect someone from medical failure? Number 3. John Ritter, 1948-2003, misdiagnosed in his final hour. On the night of September 11, 2003, audiences at a live taping of 8 Simple Rules thought they were watching another day of laughter. Then, suddenly, their beloved star John Ritter collapsed on set, clutching his chest. He was rushed to Providence St. Joseph Medical Center in Burbank, just across the street from the studio. Doctors believed he was having a heart attack. They began treatment accordingly, but they were wrong. John wasn't suffering a heart attack. He had a torn aorta, a condition that requires immediate surgery. Every second counted, yet crucial time was lost because of that misdiagnosis. By the time the truth was discovered, the tear had expanded beyond repair. At 10:48 that night, Joan Rivers, TV's ultimate everyman, was pronounced dead. He was 54. His widow, actress Amy Yazbek, launched a lawsuit accusing the hospital and doctors of negligence, arguing that if they had recognized the aortic dissection sooner, John would have lived. The case became a cornerstone in discussions of medical error and misdiagnosis in emergency medicine. Fans mourned deeply. For many, Ritter wasn't just a comedian. He was the warmth behind the laughter, the man who made pain seem lighter just by smiling. His death shook the entertainment industry and led to campaigns for better aortic disease awareness. Do you think hospitals ever learn from such tragic mistakes, or do history's lessons fade too quickly? 4. Andy Warhol, 1928–1987. The post-surgery neglect that killed a visionary. He painted the icons of America, but his own end came not in a studio, but in a hospital bed. On February 22, 1987, pop art legend Andy Warhol checked into New York Hospital for what was supposed to be a simple gallbladder surgery. The operation itself was uneventful. The complications came afterward. Despite being weak, severely underweight, and known for chronic health problems, Warhol was left unattended during recovery. That night, as nurses came and went, his body slipped into cardiac arrest. No one noticed until it was too late. The autopsy revealed that he had suffered massive fluid loss and shock from internal bleeding, complications that could have been treated if monitored properly. The New York Times obituary noted bluntly, "He was in good spirits, and then he was gone." What followed was outrage. The medical community called it a preventable death. Friends and colleagues described the negligence as almost criminal. Warhol's family pursued legal action, and the hospital later reached an undisclosed settlement. For millions, the news was surreal. How could a man who had survived a gunshot years earlier die after routine surgery? In death, Warhol's story became a haunting metaphor for fame itself. Brilliant, fragile, and all too human beneath the surface. Do you think Andy Warhol ever sensed how his story would end? So ordinary, yet so devastating? 5. Donda West, 1949–2007. The law that her death inspired. She wasn't a movie star, but her death sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. Donda West, the beloved mother of rapper Kanye West, was a professor, writer, and the woman who had raised one of music's most influential figures. On November 10, 2007, she underwent multiple cosmetic procedures: liposuction, breast reduction, and tummy tuck, all performed on the same day by Dr. Jen Adams in Los Angeles. Within hours, things began to unravel. After being released home too soon, Donda complained of chest pain and difficulty breathing. By evening, her heart stopped. Paramedics rushed her to the hospital, but it was too late. The autopsy revealed the cause: post-operative complications leading to heart failure. The tragedy was preventable. She had not been properly monitored and should have remained in medical care overnight. The backlash was immediate. The surgeon faced public scrutiny, and California lawmakers responded by enacting what would later be called the Donda West Law, requiring mandatory physical examinations and medical clearance before elective cosmetic surgery. It was a painful legacy, but one that may have saved countless lives afterward. Kanye was shattered. At concerts, he often paused to speak about his mother, calling her "my everything." Her death changed his music, his personality, and perhaps his path forever. It's haunting to think how a decision made in pursuit of beauty could destroy so much. Do you believe strict laws can truly prevent such tragedies, or will vanity always find a way around them? 6. George Segal, 1934–2021. The heart bypass that never healed. When George Segal walked onto a set, he carried an effortless charm, equal parts wit and melancholy. From Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf to the Goldbergs, he had built a career spanning 6 decades. But behind the laughter, age and heart disease were catching up. In March 2021, Segal underwent a coronary bypass surgery in Santa Rosa, California. It was a procedure millions survive every year. He didn't. The surgery went well, but complications arose soon after. Doctors said he passed away from complications of bypass surgery, but never elaborated. Those who knew him spoke of a man vibrant just days earlier, eager to return to filming. Then, suddenly, silence. His death marked the end of an era. He was 87, still active, still working. Tributes flooded in. The Goldbergs aired an emotional memorial episode showing his final scene, smiling gently, unaware it would be his goodbye. The moment was eerie in hindsight, art capturing life's fleeting nature. Segal's wife Sonia thanked fans, but subtly hinted at heartbreak over how swiftly things went wrong. The public could only speculate what complications truly meant. A routine procedure had turned fatal. It's chilling how easily routine becomes tragedy in medicine. Do you think the public deserves transparency when stars die under such circumstances, or should privacy prevail? 7. James Avery, 1945 to 2013. The father figure Hollywood lost too soon. For an entire generation, James Avery was more than an actor. He was Uncle Phil, the strong, wise father figure on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Behind that powerful presence, however, was a man quietly struggling with his health. On December 31, 2013, Avery underwent open-heart surgery in Glendale, California. The procedure was intended to extend his life. Instead, it ended it. Doctors performed the operation to repair a damaged aorta, and at first, all seemed successful. But within hours, Avery began to experience severe complications, internal bleeding, and organ failure. Despite emergency intervention, he slipped away in the recovery room. He was 68. When the news broke, fans around the world were stunned. Will Smith wrote a heartfelt tribute calling him "my second father." The cast of Fresh Prince reunited virtually to share their grief. It was clear, Avery's loss wasn't just personal, it was cultural. The man who had taught lessons about dignity and love on screen had been taken by a system that couldn't protect him off-screen. His widow, Barbara Avery, was by his side until the end. She later spoke softly of how unprepared they had been for the surgery's risks, believing it was just another step toward better health. The truth was harsher. Complications after heart surgery remain one of medicine's most feared outcomes. It makes you wonder, how many others have trusted the system and never made it home? What's your memory of Uncle Phil's greatest moment? 8. Florence Henderson, 1934-2016. The TV mom who said goodbye too soon. For millions of Americans, Florence Henderson was the face of warmth and stability, the iconic Carol Brady from the Brady Bunch. Her smile raised generations. That's why her death, just days after appearing cheerful and radiant on national television, stunned the world. On November 24, 2016, she passed away in Los Angeles from heart failure, only days after undergoing heart surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. It had seemed like a success. Florence had even attended a Dancing with the Stars taping to support her friend Maureen McCormick. But behind that glow, her body was struggling. According to close friends, she complained of fatigue and chest pain in the days following surgery. Then, suddenly, her heart gave out. Doctors called it a sudden post-operative complication, a phrase that said everything and nothing at once. At 82, she had lived a long, fruitful life, but her passing felt premature. Viewers who had grown up with her saw her as immortal, a motherly constant in the chaos of fame. Hollywood mourned her with tributes that spoke less about her death and more about what she represented: comfort, kindness, and family. Yet her story is a reminder that recovery is never guaranteed. Even the strongest hearts can falter after the scalpel closes. Do you remember Florence's laughter echoing through your childhood? Which TV mom do you think carried her warmth best? 9. Rod Serling, 1924-1975, the master of Twilight, lost to his own heart. Rod Serling built worlds where the line between life and death blurred, a master storyteller who made audiences question fate itself. But in the summer of 1975, fate turned on him. After suffering a series of heart attacks, the creator of The Twilight Zone underwent open-heart surgery at Strong Memorial Hospital in Rochester, New York. It was his third operation in just 6 weeks. His body couldn't take another. During the final procedure, Serling's heart stopped on the table. Surgeons tried to revive him for more than 10 minutes, but the man who had written so many haunting endings met his own. He was just 50 years old. In the days that followed, tributes poured in from across the entertainment world. Newspapers described it as a cruel irony, the master of mortality undone by it. Fans remembered his gravelly voice narrating each eerie episode, often warning that life's greatest twist was its brevity. Now, that voice was gone. His wife, Carol Serling, revealed later that Rod had joked about his surgeries, saying, "If I die, at least it'll make a good story." He couldn't have known how prophetic those words would become. Even today, The Twilight Zone remains a monument to his genius, and to the fragility of the man behind it. It's almost poetic, the storyteller of the unknown meeting his end inside a sterile room, far from the stars he once imagined. Do you think Rod Serling ever foresaw this ending when he wrote about fate's cruel hand? 10. Larry Linville, 1939-2000, the real-life medical irony of MASH, The Bitter Doctor. Larry Linville made millions laugh as Major Frank Burns on MASH, the pompous, neurotic army doctor who always seemed terrified of the operating room. But irony can be merciless. In early 2000, Linville faced his own battle under the surgeon's knife, a fight that would mirror the very themes of the show that made him famous. Diagnosed with a lung tumor, he underwent surgery in New York to remove it. The operation was said to be successful, yet complications soon emerged. Post-operative pneumonia developed, attacking his already fragile lungs. Within days, the infection spread rapidly, and Larry Linville, who had pretended to fight for life in front of cameras, was suddenly fighting for his own behind hospital curtains. He died on April 10, 2000, at the age of 60. His passing barely made headlines compared to other Hollywood deaths, but for those who knew him, it was painfully symbolic. On screen, he played a doctor ridiculed for his incompetence. Off-screen, he became the patient who trusted medicine too much. Friends from MASH described him as gentle, private, and intelligent, nothing like his TV persona. Alan Alda later said that Linville's humor came from empathy, from understanding pain. And indeed, his final chapter carried that same quiet dignity. His story reminds us that illness doesn't discriminate, not even against those who once mocked it for laughs. Do you think his role on MASH made his real-life ending feel eerily prophetic? 11. Eddie Fisher, 1928-2010. A voice silenced after the scalpel. Eddie Fisher's voice once ruled the airwaves of the 1950s, a crooner whose smooth tenor carried love songs across radios and dance halls. He lived a glamorous, scandal-filled life, marrying stars like Debbie Reynolds and Elizabeth Taylor, and becoming both adored and vilified by the press. Yet in his twilight years, far from the bright lights of Hollywood, Fisher faced a quieter, more human battle. In September 2010, at his home in Berkeley, California, the 82-year-old singer underwent surgery on his hip, a common procedure, one that promised relief from years of pain. But something went terribly wrong. Within hours of returning home, he began to feel unwell. Complications set in, and his heart could not withstand the strain. Surrounded by family, Eddie Fisher passed away from post-operative complications. His daughter, actress Trisha Lee Fisher, confirmed the news, saying softly, "He was loved and he will be missed." The entertainment world mourned the passing of a man who had once been everywhere, whose life had intertwined with Hollywood's most glamorous names. Yet his death carried a somber irony. After a lifetime of excess, it wasn't scandal or heartbreak that claimed him. It was medicine. A simple operation meant to restore mobility instead took away the very breath that once charmed millions. Even in death, Fisher's story serves as a haunting reminder that there is no luxury in frailty. Beneath the glitter, every legend remains mortal. Do you think Hollywood ever truly remembers its fallen stars? Or do they fade too fast from memory? 12. Clara Nunes, 1942-1983, the samba queen who never woke up. In Brazil, she was royalty. Clara Nunes, the radiant voice of samba, brought Afro-Brazilian rhythms to the world and sang with the kind of spiritual fire that made every lyric feel divine. Yet her death at just 40 years old remains one of the most shocking losses in Brazilian music history. A tragedy born not on stage, but in an operating room. On March 28, 1983, Clara entered a clinic in Rio de Janeiro for a minor procedure to treat varicose veins. She was healthy, smiling, and expected to return home that same afternoon. But as the anesthesia took hold, something went terribly wrong. The drug halothane triggered a violent allergic reaction, anaphylactic shock. Her heart stopped. Doctors revived her briefly, but the damage was done. After 28 days in a coma, Clara Nunes passed away on April 2nd. Brazil wept. Streets filled with thousands of mourners, singing her songs as if to wake her spirit. The newspapers called it a national tragedy. Medical experts later admitted that the anesthesia dosage and pre-operative checks were mishandled, a devastating case of medical negligence. Her husband, composer Paulo César Pinheiro, said that Clara had dreamed of singing even from her hospital bed. She fought until the end, he said, and she left singing. Her story is a haunting lesson. Even routine beauty and health procedures can carry fatal risks when carelessness meets confidence. Do you think we as a society underestimate the dangers of so-called simple surgeries? 13. Tony Matthews, 1942-2023. The inspector who never solved his final case. For decades, Tony Matthews was one of those faces you never forgot, gracing British screens in Inspector Morse, The Bill, and countless stage productions. He wasn't a superstar, but he was a cornerstone of British television. Dependable, steady, loved by audiences for his calm authority. Yet, in 2023, his story ended quietly, away from the cameras, following a simple surgery that turned catastrophic. Matthews had undergone a minimally invasive bowel procedure, what doctors called a routine endoscopic operation. Family members said he was optimistic, even joking with nurses before being wheeled into the operating room. But something went wrong during recovery. Within hours, complications arose, internal bleeding and infection that doctors failed to catch in time. Despite emergency intervention, his heart stopped that night. He never regained consciousness. The Sun and other British outlets confirmed the cause: post-operative complications. The phrase became a cold summary of a warm life. Fans flooded social media with tributes, describing him as a gentleman of the craft, while colleagues spoke of his generosity and quiet mentorship. Behind the curtain of professionalism, though, his death reignited conversations about understaffing and exhaustion in the UK's medical system. How many other routine patients never make the headlines? Tony Matthews' final performance had ended long before anyone realized it. No applause, no encore, just a fading heartbeat in a sterile room. Do you think we place too much blind trust in the term routine surgery? 14. Jackie O, 1991-2023. Beauty, fame, and a deadly mistake in Miami. She was young, vibrant, and on the rise, a model, influencer, and television personality best known from MTV's Wild 'N Out. But in the summer of 2023, Jackie O's pursuit of perfection led her to an irreversible tragedy. At just 32, she checked into a cosmetic clinic in Miami for a mommy makeover, a combination of procedures meant to reshape her body after childbirth. It was supposed to boost her confidence. Instead, it took her life. According to the Miami-Dade County Medical Examiner, Jackie died from complications related to the surgery. She had been administered several sedatives and pain medications, which together caused swelling in her brain and lungs. Staff at the clinic delayed calling 911 when her breathing faltered. Precious minutes lost forever. By the time she reached the hospital, her heart had stopped. Her death sent shockwaves through social media. Friends, fans, and celebrities flooded her page with heartbreak and disbelief. Her partner, DC Young Fly, described her as the love of my life and a beautiful soul who didn't deserve this. Authorities later confirmed the clinic was under investigation for multiple safety violations. Jackie's death became a flashpoint for the growing crisis in unregulated cosmetic surgery, a world where fame, pressure, and vanity intersect with deadly consequences. It's tragic how the pursuit of self-love can end in self-destruction. Do you think social media's beauty standards have pushed people too far? 15. Jean Harlow, 1911-1937, Hollywood's first great medical tragedy. Long before Marilyn Monroe or Jane Mansfield, there was Jean Harlow, the original platinum blonde, the blonde bombshell who defined early Hollywood glamour. But behind the allure was a fragile woman, betrayed not by scandal or fame, but by the medicine of her time. In May 1937, at just 26, Harlow began suffering from fatigue, swelling, and nausea while filming Saratoga. Doctors dismissed her symptoms as influenza or a gallbladder issue. They were wrong. What Jean actually had was acute kidney failure, a deadly condition then poorly understood. Her doctors treated her with outdated methods, including mercury-based diuretics, which only poisoned her body further. Within days, her condition deteriorated rapidly. Co-stars Clark Gable and Myrna Loy described the set as eerily silent, everyone aware that Hollywood's brightest star was slipping away. On June 7th, she died in a Los Angeles hospital surrounded by her mother and a few close friends. Her death sent shockwaves through the film industry. MGM immediately halted production. Fans flooded theaters to mourn her. Newspapers called her the angel with the ice-cold eyes, and the world began asking, how could such a young, healthy woman die under medical care? Modern experts agree. Her death was the result of misdiagnosis and improper treatment. It remains one of Hollywood's earliest and most infamous cases of medical mismanagement. Jean Harlow's tragedy changed the way the industry viewed celebrity health. She was proof that beauty and fame couldn't protect you from human error. Do you think if she had lived today with modern medicine, Jean Harlow would have survived? 15 lives. 15 stories that remind us how fragile even the brightest stars can be. From Joan Rivers' final breath on a clinic table to Jean Harlow's tragic misdiagnosis nearly a century earlier, these weren't deaths written in destiny. They were the results of oversight, error, and human imperfection. Each one exposes the thin line separating healing from harm, faith from fatality. In the glare of Hollywood's spotlight, it's easy to forget that fame offers no shield. Hospitals, scalpels, and operating rooms don't care about applause. Behind every charted heartbeat lies a name, a legacy, and a family left behind asking why. But though they've gone, their memory endures in the laughter, the music, and the art they gave to the world. Which of these stories struck you the hardest? Or is there another tragedy we should revisit next time? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to keep their legacies alive, don't forget to subscribe to Gone But Iconic, where memory never fades.